Hello, I'm Jono, and it's been a little while since I've made a video on the progress of the Jono, not Bono, Cubase Touch Controller. And there's a good reason for that, because we've been working around the clock to get to the point of where we're at now, which, if anyone's interested. Obviously, massive thanks to Clelson Lopes, constantly in the touch hole, lost deep down in there. I don't know if there's any escape, to be honest, but without him I'd be years behind on this. He's coded so much of this stuff now. We're in this together, and I think we just want to see how far we can take it. I don't know, every day has been a groundhog day. But anyway, I want to talk about context, which is everything. Contextual mic faders. So in a template, when you click on a track, I don't want to ever go into the GUI of a library and actually have to manually use my mouse. I just want to actually click on a track and my touchscreen show me all the controls, exactly how they are, and then job done. So let's show you that doing that. We're going to go in Cubase first. My home. And just for a bit of context, here we have a load of tracks with ID numbers. I've already shown sort of roughly why that happened in the expression map video. So this would be a combination video of expression maps and but contextual mics. When I click on one of these tracks with an ID number, basically what's going to happen is what we have programmed to happen to show on the touch screen. So I'm going to put the touch screen back on, so you're not going to see Cubase, and then I'll just say what I'm pressing, and then you can see what happens on the screen. Okay, so the touch screen is up. I'm now going to press on a track that is Spitfire symphonic strings. Instantly we've got, sorry if there's a bit of lag, it's being networked over a computer with no video card using something called NDI through OBS. It's amazing, check it out. It's free. Anyway, the articulation buttons have shown, and here on the right we've actually got contextual microphones. So if I actually now click on another library, say Berlin Woodwinds Revive, something with a different amount of mics, we've got the buttons, the articulation buttons, and we've also got the contextual microphones. So now you don't have to wonder what mics are doing what. They just literally come up and show you, and you just use them, you know. So let's do another one. Bernard Herrmann Composer Toolkit. I need to go to bed. And as we can see, mics have changed and the actual expression map buttons have appeared. Right, so let's actually talk about something else. That we've got a coined expression at the minute called under the hood contextual faders. So what you're seeing here is over the hood, and it's changing these panels. So we'll demonstrate this again. Let's do Albion 1. We've got 4 mics there and the buttons, just to prove that. Okay, and let's actually try one of the mic positions out, shall we, on Albion 1. So if I turn the mic down, it turns off, just like Spitfires are designed in Contact and their own player actually. If I turn it on, you see the color changing and gets brighter with a gradient. But let's just turn that off. Let's just go full close, shall we? Okay, so you can hear it working. And then outriggers. Use my finger, I guess. Oh God, I haven't made it full screen, have I? What an idiot. Here we go, just to prove it works. And if you double click the faders, they will go to 0. So all of them. Pull the ambient down, the outrigger, and whatever. So now I've moved those faders and activated them. I'm just going to do this for a demonstration, right? There are 4 here. If I click on another track, like let's just say Hans Zimmer strings, where there are 6 in this panel, you will notice that the tree is there. Now, we don't know how to get data out of Kontakt to send it to the touchscreen. We just don't know how to do that. So this means that the mic positions cannot be two-way. However, we have faked it. So if we actually go back to Albion 1 strings, you notice here the mic positions are literally in exactly the same position. Now, the reason for this is because this entire system renders mic faders on the fly. We don't have them stored in here, wasting precious resources. They literally get scripted and rendered on the fly, which is why it's such a quick thing. If you fake this by remembering the last known touched position, providing you don't go into Kontakt and move the faders via Kontakt, these will always tell you where you need to be. And at the bottom of them, we've got a decibel meter, a VU meter to tell you exactly where you are. So let's turn them all off apart from the tree. And obviously when you turn them off, they act exactly like they do in Kontakt, and the RAM is freed up and all that kind of stuff. Let's go back to Hans Zimmer strings, populates, and then we'll go back to Albion 1 and it's remembered the last known position. And all the rest are off. So you know instantly just by sight, you go, oh, brilliant, all the mics are off apart from the tree, no hassle, let's actually use tremolo. Piece written, job done, 1M2 done. Okay, so here's something somebody might have thought of already. We'll click on Hans Zimmer strings, right? Now, Hans Zimmer strings has got 26 microphones, so it's absolutely impossible to have 26 mics in one of these panels here. And so what we've actually done is we have got a mic panel in here. And something I was actually about to talk about, we've coined this expression under the hood contextual faders. So what you've seen flip is over the hood, and under the hood, if we click on this mic panel, all the mics are there, all 26, and we've actually put a scroll bar there so you can actually access any of them. So you literally just go, okay, with these 6 on the side, sorry, I use a mouse, you know what I'm talking about. These 6 on the side, we've just chosen those for a minute. Obviously, you're going to want them to all be bottle mic, right? But you choose whatever mic you actually want and stuff, and then there'll be the default. But if you do want to actually access all of them, then you just would touch mic and then use your finger and whatever. It's a compromise to have 26 mics. The same for Junkie XL Brass, because there are 16 in that. So you would pick 6 or 3 or 1 if you want. But let's click on a track again. In fact, let me take... The reason why this over-the-hood system works is because we have this STD button, which is appropriately named, Selected Track Display. If I turn that off now, you'll see these 2 panels. They will change. Oh God, the beach balls just come on in Cubase. Okay, so that's just changed to Albion 1 strings. Okay, and obviously if I change these panels not to actually be that, if I click now on Hans Zimmer strings, nothing has actually changed physically on top. But if we actually now go back to the mics, under the hood, they have changed. They're always contextual. Which leads me to another point about this. Let's stick STD back on. Okay, I'm just going to choose another library. Okay, so this whole under the hood thing works here as well, because a pet peeve of mine is when you're actually playing left-handed, and it's fine if you've got things in the right side, but what if you're playing right-handed and then you've got to lean over and cross over? So we've got the mics in the left-hand side which are under the hood as well. So if you want to do that, you just press that and you know the mics are there and they're representative. So let's if I keep that open, okay, you see how all of that's changed to the same. If I change that back to modern expression and we go to another library, it has still changed. It's still contextual, it's just under the hood. So, okay, let me bring back Cubase for a minute and bring the touch screen up here. Okay, I think that's self-explanatory. Like, the buttons appear. If you don't want them to appear, then you turn off STD and you can have the panels not changing and stuff like that. But what about if you're actually writing music and you don't have something in your template that's been coded, because it's all got to be custom coded to work and stuff. This is not an easy thing, it's not an out of the box thing, which is why it's a, you know, aimed at the pro kind of solution. But most people, they do add tracks as they go on the fly. Not everything, you know, it'd be a pain to actually have to code everything every time just so you can have all this stuff. Like ultimately what you have is every single track with an ID number that is contextual to everything in your template and job done. But when you're loading something in, there wouldn't be any mic positions, and that's not going to be good, is it? So as an example, let's create, let's just bring one in. Let's bring contact in. Let's bring in perk, something I haven't got in this template here. And if you see what happens on the controller, I'll make it large for a second. Over here, we haven't, this middle panel here needs to actually not be automated. It's actually a good point, we haven't done that. Basically, what has happened is here on the right, we've actually rendered custom mic faders. And these are pre-assigned right now to 22, 23, 24, 25. And they've been rendered under the hood on this side as well. And this just gives the user the ability to actually bring something in on the fly. And then if they want to actually just MIDI learn stuff, they have faders. And the difference with these are custom mic faders, meaning that you can literally press there, change the CCs, change the MIDI channels, and change the colors of them on the surface, and the names as well at the top. Where the actual contextual mics, let me click on a track with an ID number. Now, the contextual mics are not custom. And there's a massive, well, they were originally, but honestly, this thing ground to a halt when we had so much of this stuff going on. And we just started thinking, why do they need to be custom? All the mics are going to be set in stone. You don't need to change the actual CC number. You certainly don't need to change anything once it's all set up. So it's just a waste of resources. However, I didn't want to lose that functionality for when we click on a track with no ID. So suddenly the custom mic faders pop up and you still can customize them. The user can have control. We could set this to probably show 6, because I've come to the conclusion that most libraries only have 6 mics or less, pretty much everything. There's just a few that don't. So yeah, I think it'd be a case of just having 6 there and the user can assign what they want. And because we've got an automatic saving system, obviously, you don't even have to worry about it. When you change the CCs, they'll just be remembered. So that's our little solution for tracks on the fly, so to speak. But yeah, God, goes on. Let's talk about one last thing, actually. I know. That library is nice. Let's just talk about one last thing. Typically in a contact multi, you've got a serious problem basically with MIDI channels. So what normally happens, if you want to use UAC, let me pull this over here so you can actually see it. If you want to use UAC and you want to have every single articulation, then you're going to need to use different MIDI channels. And if you use different MIDI channels, there is absolutely no way of sending MIDI channel data into Contact to control each of these patches separately and make one fader do it. You can actually program it without expression maps, but expression maps don't allow you to do that. So the answer to that is to use a script or create a script and basically tell Contact to make all of these act like one. So now if I move on the mic, on the touch controller, we've got the tree mic, and you see here on the libraries, here is the tree mic. If I move the tree, it now moves every single one of them. And what will happen by default if you don't have a script written like this, it will only move channel 1, which makes it completely useless because it's not a unified instrument. The same goes for mod, dynamics, vibrato. You see how they're all moving, expression, and then obviously volume. So this is really imperative, but when you're flicking between articulations, so everything is balanced. So that's a balancing thing, which is something that we absolutely had to figure out. And again, on here, yeah, I mean, like, none of this is balanced because I've just been so focused on other things, but obviously way too loud. But let's demonstrate this with the mics. We're going to turn them all down, off, close. Just put ambient on now. So everything's all consistent. And they're on different patches. So that was quite important to actually figure that out. But yeah, I have a feeling there's loads of other stuff that I was, oh yeah. The next thing that we're going to actually figure out, because it's great to have your articulation buttons. It's great to have your mic positions. But what about all the other controllers like release and tightness? Now, on the controller, currently we just have controllers, okay? And this is one of the reasons why we had to go the contextual route, because what happens if we have another 20 developers in this switch panel and stuff, and having, right now, I can't tell you, because I don't know solo strings as well as I know the other ones that I own. I can't tell you all the controls. So I do not want to see a panel pop up with loads of controls that I know that all of these are Spitfire controls because I've gone through them all, but I don't know what relates to this one specific library. So these are going to work exactly the same as the mics and the Exp Map buttons. Only the controls for this one patch for all of these multis, whatever multis get made will show up, and these will be under the hood contextual faders. So let's face it, how many times do you ever want to go to tightness? Like, you know, you go to tightness when you want to actually, you know, change the tightness, or you go to, you know, stretch when you're actually time stretching time machine patches, which all of these include. But I never want them to pop up and get rid of my quantize panel, ever. I don't ever want to do it. I don't want it to get in the way of my spotting panel and all this other kind of stuff. So just knowing that when you click on a track, we've nicknamed them GUI faders because they're on the GUI of Kontakt, and just so we're not confused, but they are technically just CCs. But yeah, that's what's going to happen next with this. Something I don't think I've actually said about is that the faders, let's actually put this back. Yeah, we don't need Cubase. Something I haven't said about the faders, I think, they also send out an on and off button. Not a button, but if you use orchestral tools, Kontakt libraries, they require you to use the purge feature to turn them on and off. And that means that you have to press a button first. We did actually have this, but then we just simplified it. Basically, when you move any of these faders, they have the ability to send out a CC fader, and when you pull them back down to infinite zero, they send out another CC that will turn the mics off, and they work on Cine samples as well. Like, try it on Cine Brass and stuff like that. Just one less thing to have to worry about. But yes, I don't know when the next video is going to be made. It's just a constant constant nightmare down here in the touch hole, and well, hopefully this has been of some enjoyment to someone, I guess. I have no idea, but you know, at least now we can actually start using Hans Zimmer string mics, and actually just at least using them, like having them actually on the screen and just trying them all out rather than not even bothering, you know. Not that anyone would ever do that. But yeah, till next time.